Welcome back to CasualBiasRugby. URC round 5 done and dusted. Let's chat about it because it's been an interesting round. We had some upsets. We've had history being made, and once again, there's one certain game that I want to talk about when it comes to a ref. You know, as a South African, we do speak about refs, and as a South African, I want to start off by talking about the South African teams. But first and foremost, please do remember to like and subscribe. I do appreciate you guys. You guys have been amazing. I love engaging with you guys in the comment section, and I want to know what your guys' takeaways was from this weekend's URC. Let's start off with absolutely a massive victory for Scarlets at home against the Bulls. I don't want to take anything away from the Scarlets. Well done, great performance, stayed in the game the whole way through. But I kind of want to, it's once again, and this is the ref thing that I spoke about. Like, if you look at that game, and it's not just purely on the Bulls, but obviously it stood out against the Bulls a bit more. Scrums. How much more should the Bulls have done to get any scrum penalties in that game? Like, the Scarlets got absolutely thrashed at scrum time, yet they didn't concede any penalties at scrum time. And in my opinion, it's just like, what more should the Bulls have done? Like, they absolutely smashed the Scarlets there. That red card is the biggest farce in the world. I mean, the consistency of it, like, I get it that it's like head contact. If you just go by the letter of the law, probably could be a red card, but then it's like, how's there no mitigation? It was slow. It was like the slowest head collision you'll ever see in your life. Then you look at literally the game against Edinburgh versus Cardiff. The exact same thing happens. Literally word bar for bar. Probably even worse in the Edinburgh game. Nothing. Literally nothing happens. Take you back to last season when, what was it? Was it the 9 or the wing of Leinster absolutely smashed into Kurtley Arendse? Right? Just a yellow card. But then this one from Johan Grobler is a red card. That with David Creel's red card of last weekend, that obviously got rescinded as well. Are we going to have another rescinded red card? Because I can't see how this one stands. Like, there's no way that I can see how this is possibly a red card and it stays like that. And it's like, I don't like calling out refs. I'm not blaming the game on the ref at all. I hate the Bulls. Okay, I want Scarlets to win that game. I'm not one of those South Africans where it's like, oh, well, I support the Lions and the Bulls and the Sharks when I don't support the Stormers. Like, no, they are our biggest rival. I want the other teams to win. But I have to call it out, because when you call out players and coaches and stuff, you have to be calling out the refs as well. Like, when you are bad at your job or when you have a bad day at the office, you should be told you had a bad day at the office so that they can learn from it. Like, we want to suspend, for instance, Rassie for 12 months for calling out a ref, and we want to talk about Johnny Sexton talking about the refs and whatever, and then it's like, well, at some point you got to say that the ref had a bad game as well. Like, come on. But anyway, well done to the Scarlets. Obviously, the Bulls will be kicking themselves for throwing that game away, because they did in the end, even though there were 14 men on the field. That last try that they conceded, unacceptable. 3 Springboks, or like Kurtley Arendse stepped. What was it? Caden Moody also stepped, and then Ambrose Papier handoff as well. Like, Ambrose has represented the box as well. That's why I'm saying 3 Springboks. That is just an unacceptable try to give away. Yeah, so once again, it's just like the Bulls shutting down in that last 20 minutes. It's not good enough. Just not good enough. But obviously, as I just spoke about the ref and stuff, like, I'm not blaming the game on the ref. I'm just saying, like, when they had a bad game, you have to call it out. And it's like tough for like, how can Jake shut up about this? Like, you see it once again. And players and coaches just have to respect it. It's ridiculous at this point. But yeah, Anyway, I don't want to take anything away from Scarlets. Well done to the Scarlets for getting the victory. Obviously, they were massive underdogs, and they still got it over the line. They stayed in the game the whole time. Once again, Cameron Undercombe, brilliant game. But yeah, Scarlets victors in that one. Then we move over to Zebre and Lions. I wasn't able to watch this game, but I heard it was an absolutely soggy game. It was soaking wet. I think the halftime score was what, 7-6 to the Lions, and then they obviously kicked a penalty at the end of the game. Both teams scoring 3 points in the second half. I think, what was the scoreline of last season? Wasn't it like 61-10 or something like that? So obviously the conditions plays a role and stuff. But Zebre is looking better and better, you know. I think it's a massive victory still for the Lions. They'll take their 4 points and run. They are second place on the log at the moment with a game less than Glasgow, who's on the same amount of points. undefeated still, so they're continuing that run. And for the Lions, it will all just be like getting as much points as they possibly can. I don't think their squad depth is necessarily the same as the other teams in the URC and stuff. So I do expect Lions at some point to drop off maybe a bit. But yeah, for now, get all the points that you possibly can, get yourself into a strong position, and you kind of want to be that team that's like almost like Glasgow did last season, where you secure a playoff, whether it's home or away, as quick as possible, so that when the drop-off comes, you don't have to get back into the groove and then go through, like, secure it as quick as possible and then just see where the momentum takes you. But yeah, obviously, well done to the Lions for getting that victory, 9 points to 10. Then moving over, Sharks taking on Glasgow. Up and down game. Like, I thought it was a very patchy game. At certain points, like, the Sharks looked like they dominated, and then the Glasgow looked like they dominated once again. Upperly left fussy, absolutely brilliant. We saw the difference it makes for the Springboks to play in the Shark system. Because I still don't think the system is great, but the players kind of got them over the line. That's just my opinion on it. Obviously, Siya Kolisi, well done, coming back, scoring a try on his first game back. But I think the Sharks will be very disappointed in conceding those final 2 tries to make the scoreline this close. I think it was a close game. The scoreline is deserved. But obviously, with the way that the Sharks played and they got that massive lead, even though you might think, okay, well, Glasgow's been more in the game than the scoreline reflects at that point, they deserve to have it a close game. And that final try that they scored, try of the year, could be, was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I think Glasgow will still take some positives from this game, but I think in their mind they would have felt like maybe we should have won this game. This was an opportunity to win it. The Sharks didn't look too great at stages, but yeah, obviously this is a massive confidence booster for the Sharks, taking on the defending champions, beating the defending champions. Big boys are back now. If they can go on a little run, that would be very sexy for them. Let's actually see what's the Sharks' fixtures coming up. Playing Munster next. They'll have, well, we'll speak about Munster now. Munster and then playing the Stormers. Yeah, I mean, it's not too shabby. Possibly both games are winnable, and they'll all arguably, on current form, be the favourites to win both, because like the Stormers aren't on the best of form, Munster not on the best of form, and they've got literally the whole Springbok team. But we saw it at scrum time. Goodness gracious. Once again, Oxen Che, Bongi Manambi, Vincent Koch. Yeah, best scrummers in the world. I mean, absolutely crazy. But well done to the Sharks. Got their 5 points. They move up into 13th position now. Same as the Stormers, but obviously just points difference that kicks in. Next up, Stormers versus Munster. I thought this was a great game. Absolutely brilliant game. 30,000 people in the stadium. Not bad at all. For a travelling team to come here, we've come out and stacked in 30,000, which obviously makes it great. Yeah, but cynical errors from both teams, like the unforced errors. We couldn't win our own line-out, but we won every single Munster line-out. Munster couldn't win their own line-out, but they literally beat us at every single line-out. It's like the unforced errors with that, and I don't know. The game just felt all over the place. So many handling errors. Felt like we had about 1 million scrums in this game. Yeah. Keke Morabe. I was texting on the group, and I was like, okay, well, Keke Morabe has to have the worst hands in rugby. And Brett Burnz comes to me and says, no, it's Joseph Dweba. And as he said it, Joseph Dweba just goes and knocks the ball. Like, I swear, those two guys loves a bit of a knock-on. But if you actually watch the game, and I know a lot of people are critical of Dweba, and I would say rightfully so, but I actually felt like Dweba had a good game yesterday. I know he knocked that ball, and he really struggled at line-out. And I know that's the bait. Without that, you can't say he had a good game. But what I'm doing is, without that, he had a very good game. Like, I thought, I was actually impressed by Joseph Dweba at certain points in the game. I felt Paul de Vet really, really struggled, especially in that first half. I was calling for him to get ripped off the field. But then he kind of came into it, and he looked a lot better. And then, obviously, Damian Willems, absolutely brilliant. He looked like the best player in the world again yesterday. I've been calling him the best player in the world for like 2 years now. He looked like the best player in the world yesterday. 100% kicking record, if I'm not mistaken, and a drop goal. Yeah, brilliant. Dan Dupe looked a lot better. Ruanel looked very good. Leland Zas kind of had a quiet game for him, but then he was doing all the dirty work again. Galant had a good game. Hartzenberg, good game. Yeah, and the forwards did their job. I mean, it looked like we had a massive physical advantage. The amount of dominant tackles we put in was crazy. Our defensive line really worked against Munster. And like from a Munster perspective, it's also like we made so many unforced errors. We had a lot of opportunities, but we didn't really use it. So Munster, we know they are slow starters. So I wouldn't write Munster off at all. I still think they're a great team. But at some point, you kind of need to fix up now. Because it's not a good start. It's probably the same start as last season, and then all of a sudden, when it all just started to click, they just looked unstoppable. So I'm just waiting for that Munster to finally start showing up, because that's an exciting team. So yeah, if you're a Munster supporter, let me know what you're thinking at the moment, because obviously you thought, listen, okay, you've never lost against the Stormers, never mind at Cape Town Stadium, but now Now you've done that. The Stormers aren't looking great, but yet scoreline 34-19. So what needs fixing in that Munster setup, just from your perspective? Anyway, Edinburgh, Cardiff. I just had a quick little eye on that game, but obviously Edinburgh gets the victory once again. So that's back-to-back victories for them after they got spanked when they came down to South Africa. I think they got the bonus point here as well. I'm not too sure, but they've moved up into literally 6th position now from 2 victories. 2 weeks ago, I said, listen, look at them. They are dead last. They're in 6th now. That's just how tight the competition is, because everyone's beating everyone. That's why I'm saying this is the best franchise competition in the world. Literally anything can happen. So many upset victories that doesn't even feel like an upset. The biggest upset here feels like that they won by 19 points. Like, I never see Cardiff lose by much. I always say it. They don't win by much, they don't lose by much, but yet 19 points, that's a pretty big margin. But yeah, obviously massive confidence booster for Edinburgh. Getting one over the Stormers, getting one over Cardiff now, and they can actually move on. What's their next fixtures? Because they could actually go on a little run of form now, playing against a struggling Osprey side. Then they've got Benetton at home. So they probably want to beat that one, and then obviously they're going off to Europe. So they can rack up 4 victories in a row, and that could really do them a lot of favours. Get them in the top 4 even, if you want to go that far. Connacht versus Leinster. Leinster just moved Connacht out of the way. I thought this game was very up and down. Like I was watching it last night. Maybe possibly it was because I was a little tired that I got a bit bored. But it was like this Leinster team. They're just so good at the moment. Erge Snyman once again scores a try, does the celebration of like the Spider-Man, where it's like the ball sticking to his hand, needs to use his feet to get rid of it. Yeah, they just look so well-rounded at the moment. Like, I can't see how anyone beats Leinster. It's just that good. That's why I actually called in my predictions that Leinster will win this season and then maybe go for the double, but I think Leinster needs to focus on the URC for this season, get that done and dusted. And then finally we had the Dragons versus Benetton. I thought Dragons, maybe home ground advantage, will take this game. I called for the upset victory on that one. Obviously didn't come through. Benetton gets the victory, 31 points to 21. But I mean, how can you be sad when Benetton's playing some good rugby and getting the victories? So obviously with them struggling so much at the start, they've racked up 2 victories in a row as well, same as Edinburgh, and they've moved up into 8th place. Ridiculous. How close this is absolutely lovely. So after this round, we still got Leinster and Lions, the 2 undefeated teams so far, and obviously Glasgow. That's on 18. That's your top 3 at the moment, with the Bulls just slotting in on 15 points with Ulster below them, but Bulls with a game less. And then your bottom 3, you've got Dragons, Zebre, Ospreys. And yeah, it's kind of like, I had hopes for the Dragons and Zebre, and I still do, because they have impressed me. But it's going to be tough for them to get out of that position, because obviously, if you think about it, they'll probably have to fight against Cardiff or Scarlets to get out of that position. But Scarlets has raised their game. Cardiff has looked good since last season. So yeah, it's really tough to call it at the moment, because the Stormers and the Sharks, at some point, they will go up. And then it's going to be, that top 10 battle is going to be absolutely saucy. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye.